Can you hear me now? I can't hear you. I have your. Make sure your mic is unmuted. It's not. Well, we are here, my people. We waiting on the engineer, and we're trying to get some sound for my guest. Got some problems over here. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what's going on with my engineer here. Did he call you? I can't hear anything now. I don't know what they got going on here. I'm sorry, people. I am so sorry. Let me play some music in the background while we're trying to get done. Yeah, we got something going on. I'm not connected with my engineer. Hold on. Let's see here. I'm not getting any music here. Okay. Can you? I can't hear you. Say something. I have you connected on Skype over here. Can you hear me on Skype? Okay, y'all be patient with me. I'm gonna call over to the fishbowl again right quick. We can, so we can make sure we can get our guest on here. I'm glad you're here, Felicia Favors. And somebody else. Y'all give a shout out to where y'all from. Hello. I'm calling to check what's going on. Hello. This is Cassandra Love Cafe. My engineer is not in. I don't know what's happening. I can't hear him. Okay, thank you. All right. But we're going to play this music and we're going to try to get some sound while they're going to work on that. It's showing your mic muted. See if you can unmute your mic. I don't know what's going on over here. Hey, Latoya. You're trying to work on some technical difficulties. Okay, say something. What's going on? Thank y'all for being so patient with me. I done put my phone number out there for all of y'all to call me. Let me send this to him. Are you there? Okay, then. What we're going to do is we're going to talk over the, I'm kind of echoing, cut yours down just a little bit. We're going to talk over the phone. I have a mic here that's going to pick you up. I don't know what's happening over here in the studio. So I'm going to cut my music off and we're going to go ahead and introduce you. Okay, then. So, y'all, thank y'all for being patient with us. Say something so I'll make sure we can hear you.
I'm here.
All right, there we go. Okay, y'all, I am so excited today. We had some technical difficulties getting in, and I think Fishbowl is trying to call me right now. But I have on the phone GF Hilton Soldier, baby. Yes. And I am so excited to have him. This young man has been here before with us at the Love Cafe years ago. I think when you first moved here, not too long after Katrina. Is that right?
Not long after Katrina. Maybe 2006, 2007, I was here. When I first got here.
Yeah. And this young man has shared his story with us, but I've seen so much growth. I've been following him on Facebook. He has a book out. He's an author since we first met called Trifling to Transform. Okay. They saying that they having something, it must be something on my end that's giving a problem here. Okay, then, so I'm trying to connect again. And it's not connecting. It's not connecting. So anyway, I just kind of want tell them a little bit about yourself and what you're doing right now, because since our last interview, you've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, still working on my PhD. I do counseling and psychotherapy. I'm currently working with kids right now in a group home, juveniles between the ages of 10 and 17. And I currently work in the Tarrant County Correction Center as well. And I provide psychosocial rehab here for the inmates. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
Okay, then.
Not doing too much.
That sounds like enough. That sounds like enough. I tell you, it's like you have your schedule full, and I appreciate you taking out the time to be with us. And he's also an international, um, spoken word artist. And let me tell you, you talked about someone commanding the stage. This young man, and if we have a little bit of time today, we got started a little late, but we may have him just spit just a little bit for y'all, just a little bit, just to throw something out there. Our topic today, the one thing we wanted to talk about is definitely what about men crying? And we kind of had a little bit of this conversation. The reason I say this, we are in a time right now with the pandemic, with things that are going on as far as social justice is concerned, all of that we are in a time right now that is rough. And, we talk about how rough it is on women. And I want to say this, I do recognize that it is National Women's Month. And you're like, so what we talked about why men cry? Because everything that affects us and everything that affects men affects us. We have sons, we have husbands, we have friends, we have fathers that are hurting. And they have been told, boy, don't you cry. So in the field that you work in, you were giving me some numbers as far as how many people are in the facility that you work at that are male. Will you kind of share that with us?
Yeah, roughly about 4,400 people here, and just maybe a fourth of that are females. Mm-hmm. So mostly we have to deal with males here. Mm-hmm. And of course, males dominate the population in any corrections system. Males dominate the population by a landslide. Mm-hmm. And so basically, we just find different ways to cry other than tears. Mm-hmm. There's an emotion called anger, and I think for a Black man, anger is one of the more comfortable emotions that we use. That does not appear to emasculate us in some kind of way. So we take our hurt, our frustration, our pain, our emotional pain, and our agitation, our aggravation, we take that out through anger because it further promotes the tough exterior that we pretend to have.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, because this is something. Do you think that starts like when we are raising boys? As parents, we're raising boys. Is that something that you think is kind of the beginning of this mentality?
Yeah, I mean, it's at the beginning. It starts from the giddy up. Like we technically are more emotionally expressive than girls are. From a psychological perspective, from a neurological perspective, and in a genetic perspective. However, environmentally, we grow into a society that does not allow for us to say ouch in the most authentic way we would like to say ouch, and that's to cry about it. Yeah. And so we've been taught to find other ways to say ouch, and through our anger, we'll cuss like sailors, we'll punch a hole in the wall, right. We'll lift up on some stuff and, try to harden ourselves up. And depending on, what kind of environment you came up in. I mean, I'm from the 17 Ward Holly Grove in New Orleans, Louisiana, and those are some of the hard parts of New Orleans. And so you could not walk in the streets being a crybaby, because not only would you get talked about, but you get dealt with. So it's a mentality of you walk hard and you don't walk at all, stay inside type of thing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that hard of a neighborhood. It's the culture that Black men are not supposed to show that type of weakness. But actually, it's not weakness. It's vulnerability. And is not weakness, but we've been taught that it's weakness. Vulnerability is actually courage. And many of us as Black men are scared out of our minds to exercise that type of vulnerability for the fear of being called weak or punk or being less than. And I could there's a lot of expletives that I can say that Black men call themselves when they're acting in a vulnerable way that I won't say now. But so the standard is don't show that type of vulnerability or it'll be frowned upon. And so the purpose of why I got into this thing is to give Black men a different perspective, which is a difficult thing to do because I myself also have to live up to that standard in order to be able to teach that standard and provide the proper therapy for that standard.
Be the first partaker.
Yeah, because I still have to fight that urge to be hard. I still have to fight that urge not to let my eyes water and let tears come down. I still have that mentality to man it up. And one of the things that is so misunderstood about us is the fact that we hurt just as much and we are just as sensitive or even more sensitive than our female counterparts, if you will. And you know, we because we exercise anger as one of those comfortable emotions, we end up getting ourselves in trouble.
Well, society, let me ask you this, because society expects you to be angry. You know, I'm pulling up to the light, and if a white gentleman walks up to my car, he going across, you know, I just look at him walk, unless he, you know, looking dangerous. But, you know, oh my God, I'm sure if you walk across a man of your stature, you walk across the street and you walk toward my car, I'm locking the door. Because you are an angry Black man. And you know, that's y'all's first name now. You know, it's not Christopher, but it's angry Black man, da 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 da. My son had a call where a white lady, he got out to help a lady who had really hit him. And it went into a big legal battle because when she called the police, he was a big angry Black man. And so, you know, and that was acceptable. If he would have gotten out of the car crying, he would have been crazy, because what man of that stature, what man of your stature would cry? You know, so let me ask you this. How did we get to a place, or how do we get to a place to change this atmosphere?
Empathy is one of the things that has to be exercised. And we, as human beings, unfortunately, have a very horrible capacity to exercise empathy, which is to see things from perspectives other than your own. Some people are so convinced on their own perceptions of how they see things that they're not open to see if there is any other perspectives. Because on the inside of this exterior, I'm still a human being. And so, do you have the human capacity to exercise human empathy and see things from perspectives other than your own? If not, it's not going to work. And empathy is a major component of how we should communicate, although we don't. When we communicate, we come with our perspective, and a lot of the times we're not willing to be open to any other perspectives. So a little objectivity, a little empathy is the first and foremost thing to start with. If you don't have that capacity to do it, and you know, we as human beings, we're horrible communicators, quiet as it's kept. And we're horrible listeners, and that's why we're horrible communicators. Because we don't listen very well. And communication and listening both are skills that should happen. And so communication is a skill, and skills have to be developed over an extensive period of time. So while we talk very well, our communication sucks.
Wow.
While we hear very well, our listening is horrible.
Yeah.
Because of the lack of the capacity to be able to embrace another perspective than our own.
Right.
And so if we could get to the point where we can exercise good empathy and be objective in our thinking when it comes to understanding somebody that does not look like you, act like you, think like you, or even practice the same type of spiritual practice that you do, we're always going to be judgmental and condemnatory, and we're going to be dismissive of things that does not look, act, speak, think like we do.
So, as with this being National Women's Month, what are, if you were to give, and it's a lot of women that are on here today, what 2 things, and I want to go to that. I'm going to go to a song for a moment because I'm going to try to see if we can get the Skype in. But I want you to think about this. What are 2 things we as women, we as mothers, we as wives, we as sisters, what 2 things can we do to contribute? One of those I know you said is we have to learn to practice empathy. How can we do that, and what do we do on that? We're going to go to a song, and I'm going to restart my Skype over because I want to get all of this. I want this out on every platform because it is so essential. We've got to have some communication going on. You're right. We've got to get that going on. So we're going to go, this week I'm featuring LaShawn Pace Rhodes, who passed, who is one of my gospel, I think one of the greatest gospel singers that there are. So we're going to put that song on. And Miss LaShawn Pace, how about This Place? Because a lot of men are in this place. And we want to know how we can get out of it, how we can move to another dimension in our thinking, in our living. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to do some LaShawn Pace, This Place.
Is a terrible place. I feel so alone. It looks like there's no God anywhere. Oh, no one to turn to. So I wondered, what is the purpose of going on? So I asked myself these questions many a times. I'm in their world, but where is my hope for tomorrow? I'm in this world, but where Yeah, you're in this world, and I am your home. I am your home. You're in this world.
Can you hear me?
And I am your peace.
Okay.
I am your peace of mind.
I'm trying to get on Skype. It's not doing me.
You're in this world. And I am your joy unspeakable. You're in this world. And I'm here to show you love, All I want you to do is trust me.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. In this place, and we have a lot of people that are in this place. I had asked you a minute ago, what are some things that I can do as a mother, as a mate, as a friend, beside the empathy thing? And I was listening to that song, This Place. One of the things that I find out is sometimes we don't have that empathy. Because we've been programmed just like you have. You a boy, what you doing? Crying. We looking at a TV show and this guy starts showing emotion about a woman that he loves. And what we do, we say, man up. We say that. We tell you to do that. So, and we say we want men to be on their sensitive side or whatever. But if you come home every day from work because you had a baby and you want to lay your head on my shoulder, I'm going to say, wait a minute now. But me as a woman doing that, that's okay. So what can we do?
Well, I can tell you one thing not to do is stop telling us to man it up. We bang up, although we try. Mm-hmm. And so when we exhibit that anger, that's our cry. That's us saying we can't man it up. And that's why we're so angry. That's why we lose our temper. We're sick and tired of people telling us to man it up. Now, do we express it in that way? Do we say we're sick and tired of it? No. We just punch a hole in the wall, find some other fight. And that's why so many of us are in jail because of the lack of the safe space to be able to say what's really on our mind, to really express our feelings. So stop telling us to man it up, suck it up. That's one thing. Be willing to put your guards down and let us express ourselves freely without deflection. Because a lot of the times when we talk about our problems, our sisters, our lovely sisters, have this capacity to deflect and say, well, what about all this stuff you're doing? What about all that stuff you're doing? And so when we talk about our hurt, it makes it appear as if we have to take all of the responsibility of the people that has hurt us along the way, particularly our sisters. So be willing to put your guards down. Stop being deflective and trying to put everything back on us, because a lot of times we just want to talk about what's on our hearts. We're not trying to point the finger all the time. We're just trying to get it out in a more constructive way other than anger, which can be a very destructive way. Because anger, we're allowed to be angry, but it's how you manage your anger that will determine whether it's constructive or destructive. And a lot of the times for us as Black men, our anger turns into something that's destructive, because anger is only the end result of us being heartbroken or being hurt emotionally in our feelings. And where we're not allowed to express that in a constructive manner, we're going to eventually or ultimately express it in a destructive manner, which can get us in trouble. Also, projection. If something which is also a defense mechanism, projection is when you feel some kind of way, you make it the truth, you make it facts, and then you project that onto the other person because of how that person made you feel. But it doesn't mean that person meant to hurt you or meant to make you feel some kind of way. Right. So a lot of times you have a lot for what the person is meaning, because communication is interpretive. It has meaning to it. And if you don't talk to the person in which the words are coming from, and you make it mean what you wanted to mean because it made you feel some kind of way, then what you have done is you project your truth onto the other person, and you have made it the absolute truth without allowing that person to explain what they mean when they're communicating. So put your guards down, losing the whole capacity to deflect when it's time to express feelings, and also not making your feelings facts or truth when someone is trying to express themselves as well. So it all that sums up to be willing to put your guards down. Also, be willing to provide a place of safety to make us feel safe in doing it. You know, and the scriptures also say that the heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he will have no need of spoil. You know, so for us to have that safe space to be able to express what's going on with us would also be helpful as well. But a lot of the times we don't express ourselves from a vulnerability perspective because we fear for the lack of safety that's not provided or allotted for us when we express ourselves, because it's very hard for us to go into that area of vulnerability because most of us are so broken that we feel like they're never going to see me any other kind of way, which is also a bad defense mechanism when we try to rationalize or magnify. Magnification is what it's called. When we say stuff like, well, you know, she ain't gonna never see me this way anyway, so why would I express myself? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it has to be a safe space. You have to be willing to, and empathy, also another word for empathy is understanding. And of course the scripture says, in all thy getting,
get an understanding.
Yeah.
You know, and that, boy, you just, that's a message.
It says wisdom is the principal thing, and get wisdom, but in all thy getting, get an understanding. That's what empathy is.
Yeah, wow.
So understanding is not just a biblical principle, it's a practical principle. Like, if that Bible is totally flawed, that one scripture right there gets rid of that flaw right then and there.
Yeah.
You know
Whoa.
Understanding, that's what understanding, that word in the Hebrew translation means comprehension or discernment. That's what understanding is. So in all that, get understanding. So when you listen to understand and not listen to reply, then we can have a constructive conversation. But a lot of times we listen to reply, and a lot of the times things don't need a reply, because that reply will be filled with a lot of deflection and a lot of projection, and then you are dismissive of the person's feelings because you're trying to defend yourself and defend your actions. Wow. If I step on your foot, sis. If I step on your foot, now I didn't see your foot, but if I step on your foot and I put all 320 pounds of this on your foot, I'm going to break a toe. Right. I'm not going to turn to you and say, well, look, sis, I'm not going to apologize because, first of all, I didn't mean to do it. And second of all, I didn't see your foot. So your foot shouldn't be hurting. Right. I didn't mean to do it. And this is what we do. Right. It comes from an emotional standpoint. Yeah. Because we didn't mean to do it. We want to defend our intentions at the expense of justifying our actions. I still stepped on your foot, and I have to acknowledge, and most of us will say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your foot, I'm sorry. Most of us will say that. Yeah. Why can we not do that from an emotional and psychological perspective? It's great. We don't defend our intentions at that particular time because I know I just broke your toe. You broke my heart. You broke my heart too. And now you want to try to defend and explain what you meant by what you said instead of listening to the pain that's going on with me. And so a lot of the times, so if you can get rid of your intentions, that's my next thing. Get rid of your intentions and focus on the act itself. Then maybe we can exercise more empathy. We're too busy defending our intentions. And whenever you defend your intentions, what you're doing is making an effort to justify your actions. Your actions still hurt me. Yes. And you're trying to justify your actions by explaining your intentions. And we have a hard time, a very difficult time, moving our intentions to the side when it's time for a conversation that involves healing and restoration. Because when you end that's why I say we're such horrible communicators, because communication is a skill that has to be developed over a period of time. Not talking. You know, I could talk a hole in your head and still not be saying nothing.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. This is so good. And one of the things I want everybody that's listening to understand is he's bringing in natural principles with biblical principles. And I think that is where, especially in the Black community, where we default. What we do is we default that God is going to take care of it. You know, I'm going to just pray. And he said, faith without works is dead. So at this point in time, when we know that the intersection of we're not meeting or we're not connecting on our mental level, that we are on a natural level. So we walk around looking like we okay and we real messed up. So one of the things is, and this is something that just started happening, especially in the Black community, Black men going to get their mental checkups, getting mental health. How do they, or where do they go, or how do you even get to that point? Before they're in there with you, where you are, you know, and because their anger caused them to be in a place where it's mandated. How do we do that?
Well, you know, we all judgmental, so we have to get rid of the capacity to judge. You're not crazy if you go get some help mentally, or you go to therapy. And that's also been the stigma that's been put on therapy by Black people, period, let alone Black men. I ain't going to see no therapy. I ain't crazy. You don't have to be crazy. But your mental health is as equally as important as your physical health. And when you go to the doctor, your primary care physician, it's talking about, it's more or less your physical health. But if you have very poor mental health, the body's going to keep score of that. And it's not going to matter how much you exercise or how much you eat right. The body keeps score of our poor mental health, our perception of how we see ourselves, our low self-esteem, our stress, our depression, and we just keep holding that stuff in. We do not have the human capacity to hold stuff in. It is unhealthy. It is toxic to suck it up. And if we don't get that, we're going to continue to die at an early age, which Black men do. We die at an early age. And we're dropping out like flies because we're holding stuff in. It is not. It is and it's commended. It's praised in society when you can suck it up. Sucking it up is toxic. So we have to get rid of the whole mentality that you're crazy if you go seek therapy. Once we get rid of that, we could go into that. And we have to look at our mental health as being even more important than our physical health. You know? And if we could get to that point where we know that our mental health is just as important, the physical aspect will follow suit. Either way, the body keeps scoring.
Right. If we get better here, we can get better here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether we have excellent mental health or whether we have poor mental health. Whatever story you come up with in your head, positive or negative, the brain neurologically will chemically reward that behavior or reward that story, whether it's accurate or not, whether it's true or false, whether it's fact or fiction. The brain will chemically reward your thought process, your story that you come with. And so if your story is negative, the brain will chemically reward that and make it sound plausible. If you look at yourself in a positive way, the brain will also chemically reward that. It's called the limbic system. And the limbic system is responsible for regulating emotion and memory. And that's the brain's reward system. So do understand, whenever you got a negative output on yourself and your whole life is like, well, I ain't never good and all that other stuff, the brain will chemically reward that and the body will keep scoring. And you will die slowly but surely, and you will speed up your days because stress, it decreases the anti-aging growth hormones, and your anti-aging growth hormones is your hormones that is responsible for aging. The more you stress out and you don't get help, the faster you age. So you could be 38 going on 68 if you're not careful.
Wow.
because of the stress.
And
So
stress is a killer.
Yeah, so do understand the medical effects that can happen to you physically because you're not taking care of your mental health.
Let me ask you one other question, because being those people, and let me give you an example. I'm the daughter of an alcoholic, and so a lot of times we see those people that are having the mental break. Well, I won't say a lot of times. Most of the times, the most destruction that they're doing are to those people that they really love around them, that have been their support system, and they won't lash out at what really is bothering them, or they won't follow through on those things that are really bothering them, but lashing out and what I would say is victimizing or bringing the whole family into a whole mental state where everybody's in a situation, and everybody needs some mental health at this point in time. I think it's good though, for even if you're not going through a major situation, I think it's good to get therapy to kind of get a gauge of where you are. We've been talking about maintaining or maintenance, and I think it's good, which is good mental maintenance.
Yes, it is. And everyone should do it. Everyone should have a therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a therapist.
I do.
I have one.
I do too.
And doctors, primary care physicians, they have doctors as well. So everybody should have a therapist. Your mental health is just as important. And just because things is going good in your life doesn't mean that you shouldn't give a mental checkup every now and then to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Because stress is stress, whether it's positive or negative. Stress is still stress, and you still have to manage it. Because the brain don't know whether it's positive or negative. The brain knows that stress.
Right.
That's all the brain knows.
Yeah. Wow.
And so you have to, I think you should do it just as much and get checkups just as much as you would if you was going to the doctor. Probably even more consistently than going to the doctor.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, I have a therapist, and it's great for me sometimes just to organize my thoughts, just to see where I need to be, and then sometimes is I can share with a friend this, that, and the other, but a therapist is gonna give me a roadmap. It's just like me saying I got my heart doing something, asking a friend to work on it. They don't specialize in that, and they're going to be on my side most of the time if it's a situation with another person. So, with that being said, well, I tell you what, this has been so good. I'm going to play another song because I want you to come back and I want you to feed these people some of that spoken word. But I want them, before we go to the song, share with them about your book, Trifling to Transform. Y'all know that even sound good. Go ahead and share with them about your book.
So Trifling to Transform, the trifling aspect of it came from the perspective of my two kids and my lack of responsibility to make wise decisions. My children are both 17 years old. My son made 17 last month on the 15th. My daughter just celebrated her 17th birthday on the 17th of this month. And so they're a month and 2 days apart. And so that's the trifling aspect of it. How the gift exposed and saved my life is trifling to transform, and how the gift exposed and saved my life. The transform part is actually probably the most difficult part because you have to walk in that transformation. And so your mind has to always be renewed in your thoughts and everything, because those parts of you don't go away. But those parts of you still have to be managed and monitored correctly in an appropriate manner. You know what I'm saying? And so how the gift exposed and saved my life, when I started writing and I started doing the poetry, there's a scripture that provides also practical principles. Do not neglect your gift is one of them. It's 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses 12 to 16. Do not neglect your gift. That's verse 14. Verse 15, practice, cultivate, and meditate. Give all of yourself unto your gift so that your progress will be made evident to everybody. Verse 16, be well to yourself, take heed unto the doctrine, continue these things, for by doing this you shall save both yourself and those who hear you. That word saved in the Greek translation means to heal. So then your gift should serve as a therapeutic function or a healing mechanism in your life. So if your gift does not serve in a therapeutic function, if the gift does not heal you in any kind of manner, then it's probably not your gift. You should find out what your gift is.
Right.
So my writing and things of that magnitude is therapeutic for me. And that's how the gift is supposed to say in my life, because through those trifling moments, I became very depressed, very down on myself, very stressed, because I am a child of a father and a mother that wasn't together, a father that wasn't there for me. And both were practicing infidelity at that time, because my mom was married to another dude. And my father, biological father, rest in peace, he was married to another woman. And so I am the product of infidelity. And in some instances, I repeated the cycle. So the whole trifling to transform thing was me trying to break that cycle of infidelity, not being there for kids and all that stuff, and trying to be the responsible man that my grandmother raised me to be, and also be an inspiration for other people. But that book was based on being vulnerable enough to admit that I am a trifling man. So I can't say that I'm no longer a trifling man, but I think I'm a trifling man in recovery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There is a darker side to all of us, and that darker side doesn't just go away just because you're not practicing in it anymore. It's still there. We all have that darker side of us, and we need to be more embracing of it and less judgmental of it, and love it just as much as God loves us.
Boy, you ought to quit.
He loves us on both sides of the spectrum, and we're so neglecting towards that side of us that we despise it, and we only want to show that part of ourselves that makes us look good. But once you embrace who you are holistically, can't nobody ever use that against you.
See, that's what child you preaching.
You try to all you want, I'll be like, yeah, you're right. I am trying to I'm trifling. What you trying to say? Okay.
There it is. Now you know.
You made your point. Congratulations. It's like that. So I'm no longer offended by those type of compliments or those type of insults, I want to say.
Right.
Because to deny any part of myself from being that type of person, I would have to deny my kids too, because I am ashamed of them. If I'm ashamed of me, any part of me, then part of me is also ashamed of them because of what I did. And I cannot make them pay for what I did. So I have to embrace that part of myself.
Right.
Even though it's not the brightest part, the most positive part, I still have to embrace that part of myself, because that part of me lives in me, because I'm human and I'm flawed. And I am in error at times. We're all flawed, but we don't want to embrace that flawed side of us. We want to embrace that side of us that makes us look. And that's what social media does. Social media helps to enhance that part
how
of
we
us,
live.
that part of us.
Get my filters on.
So we don't want to take the mask off. So we want to continue to promote that part of us, and it makes people think that we're perfect in some people's eyes. And so when we do fall and we do commit error, I never knew that person was like that, or I'm so disappointed.
Right.
That part of us, it has always been in existence since day one.
Yeah.
From any perspective, we're so judgmental, positive or negatively, that we put people in a box and we put people on a pedestal that was only meant for God Himself to stand on.
Definitely.
So
Wow.
it was to reveal
That is good.
that darker side of myself.
And you, like you said, nobody can expose you when you know who you are. But each morning getting up saying, I'm going to renew my mind so I can be a better me than I was yesterday, trying to bring the best me that I can. I might mess up, guess what? But I know that was in me, so I'm not surprised. And I just start all over. And we can start all over any time of the day. And that's the beautiful thing. We're going to go to a song, and I want you to get ready to just give them a little spoken word, and then we're going to get up out of here. How about that? So we're going to go to another one, a LaShawn Pace. I don't even know which one I got. We finna flow with it. Okay, how about that? Okay.
And it won't be long, I'll be there. I'll be meeting you soon, and it won't be long, I'll be there. When the Lord called you home and you left me alone, and my heart was poor and in vain, but I'll be there. It won't be long, I'll be there. And when He calls out your name, and He'll say, well done, your work was not in vain. I'll be there. It won't be long, I'll be there.
All right, we back here, and we are getting ready. We are getting ready to hear some fire. I want to make sure this is really good. Are y'all hearing it real clear? I see we're getting some really good comments on here that you seem to be enjoying this. But I want y'all to hear this young man. He's going to bring us a spoken word, and then we're going to be up out of here. How about that?
Okay, so before I get into spoken word, I want to answer that question that I think it was Sister Felicia that asked. What does man up mean? Yes, that's exactly what it means. To not show any emotion when you're trying to express. So that's exactly what that means. I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, no emotion. But you want, but we as, and I gotta throw this in there when you put that in there. But we don't want him to show emotion. But then we wonder why he won't hug us.
Yeah.
And we wonder why he's so disconnected when we have a conversation.
Right.
You know, because we don't want him to show any emotion, and what he does is he bottles them all up. That love that he could allow to flow, the anger, all of those tears that he could allow to flow. We said, don't cry.
Yeah, anger is probably the only emotion that's acceptable.
Yeah.
So other than that, that's about it.
Yeah. All right, then, yes.
All right, so here we go. You see, I'm going through something because I'm sitting up late at night, brainstorming, trying to find the proper antidotes to all these demons I'm trying to fight, and it's getting kind of tight. Because I'm trying to find my own way through the darkness without calling on God for any spiritual insight. I'm in a serious predicament, y'all, and I hope that you will feel my plight. Because I'm thinking to myself, if I get married, then I will be able to make things right. But it would be foolish of me to do this thing out of spite and deliberately marry the wrong woman just to cure my perverted sexual appetite. Am I marrying the booty, or am I marrying my wife because it seems like I'm putting up a fuss? Trying to justify my reasons for sheltering these categorical demons of lust is an extreme disgust. Plus, I must admit that fornication is one of the biggest demons I've had to wrestle with, and this particular demon has been overwhelmingly difficult to tussle with in the midst of the hustle and bustle. And this gift that God has given me to speak that has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I'm spiritually sick and my soul needs to be fixed. Because right now I feel like my soul is broken beyond repair, but today I am prepared to go deep into the very depths of the most intricate parts of my inner being. Forgive me, y'all, but I think I'm getting ready to go there because it seems like I'm running away from the problem instead of facing the struggle. And instead of me trying to cast this thing away, it seems like I'm embracing the struggle because the reality is that I wrestle against powerful principalities, rulers of darkness, evil intentions, and deceptive mentalities. My battles against evil spirits and wickedness in high places, and these things that I'm dealing with does not come in the form of a serpent, but they're trying to track me with big cheeks and two faces. And sometimes I feel like I want to throw in the towel and just quit because the enemy will sometimes make the person look 10 times better than the one you're supposed to be with because they see my brothers and sisters. John says all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. But my question is, what am I supposed to do with so many things that please to the very sight? Oh man, I wish I could see no evil and hear no evil. Therefore, I wouldn't be able to speak no evil and do no evil. When you see a comment, so like Paul. Because the very things that I hate, those are the very things that I do. And when I'm willing to do the things that I like, those are the very things that I don't do. And I'm sitting there wondering why I'm committing all these lustful acts over and over and over again. But you see, it's not really the act, but Proverbs says it is the very thought of fools that makes it a sin. And I'm looking for some kind of supernatural sign to get me out of the spiritual vibe because I've become a prisoner of my own mind. And it's sort of demoralizing to do all that you can that is right and still fail. It's kind of like doing all that you can to get out of jail, but you still can't make bail. And because my mind has become so increasingly frail, I have to humble myself and confront who I am and go behind the veil. Because I can no longer tell you a lie. In order for me to rid myself of these fleshly things, I must be willing to die. Because right now I'm so filthy and dirty, and in the eyes of God, I feel like the garbage in the trash can. So I have to make sure that I go boldly behind the veil so you don't have to ask who is that masked man behind the veil. I want to be able to minister to the inner you. But before I do that, I have to humble myself and admit that I am a sinner too behind the veil. I have to make sure that God's will is being done. But before I do that, I have to stop hiding behind GF Soldier and introduce you to Hilton Christopher Young. Behind the veil.
Wow, man. I don't have my little clapper, but I'll tell you what, that's a clap right there. Man, thank you so much for being here with us. It's so much more we need to talk about and get into this. I want to reach out to you again because, I mean, you're sharing for a perspective. And I think all the women here appreciate you being here with us during this Women's Month, sharing with us because we don't exist without you all. Y'all don't exist without us. We are so yeah. We are so dependent upon you all. And the thing of it is, we have to understand we're not on different teams, we're on the same team. And we need to be able to have the tools to lift you up because we love y'all. We do.
Yes,
you know, we do. So, baby, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. All righty then. And I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. That's why we really got to get you back on and get that recorded too, but I'll be sending you this. All right. Thank you, baby. We'll see you later. And y'all, I'm going to roll out of here with, I'm rolling out of here with my last little song by LaShawn Pace. And yes, oh boy, you needed this. This is good. I'm glad that you all were able to be here. And we'll be having it out. You can go listen to it again on YouTube if you did miss it. But we're gonna we're gonna do some let's see, I'm trying to go here. Here we go. Yeah, we're gonna get another little song in here. We're gonna finish that with that. I'll be there. And that's one of the things we have to understand. We can be there for those that need us. We just need the tools. Yes, much applause. Definitely a standing ovation. This was just so very good, and I'm so glad he shared it because, we're not in war. We have to understand, every time all men are this and all women are that. No, they not. When we come together, I told y'all we're trying to get a love epidemic going. If we come together and be supportive of and love each other and allow each other a shoulder to lean on and cry on, You know, I know we've been brainwashed on a whole lot of things, but if we come together, what a powerful human being we will be. Oh yeah. Anyway, there go my girl LaShawn. We're gonna miss you, girl. I'll see y'all next week. Don't forget Soul Food Sundays, 3 o'clock Sunday.